The day had been hot and endless, the sun beating down my car as I drove through the desolate desert. I was on a long road trip to visit my friend. Landscape around me seemed to stretch on forever, an unending sea of sand and shrubs. Each mile that passed, I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of isolation. As the sun began to set, I realized I had taken the wrong turn. I was supposed to be on the main highway, but the road I was on had dwindled to a narrow, dusty path. I checked my GPS, but there was no signal. Panic surged through me as I realized I was in the middle of nowhere with no way to find my way. The road stretched on, and I had no choice but to keep driving. The desert was eerily silent. The only sound was the crunch of my tires on the gravel. I felt a growing sense of unease, as if I were being watched, seeing eyes. After what felt like hours, I spotted a small, run-down gas station in the distance. It was a welcome sight, and I pulled in, hoping to ask for direction back to the main highway. The gas station was deserted, and the windows were covered in a thick layer of dust. It seemed like a place long forgotten by time. I got out of the car and entered the station. Rusty bell above the door jingling. I pushed my way inside. The interior was dark and musty. The shelf stuck with long expired goods. I called out, but there was no response. I was about to leave when a voice called out from the back of the store. An elderly man emerged, his face withered, lined from years of harsh desert sun. He seemed friendly enough. He told me he was the owner of the gas station. I asked for direction back to the main highway. He gave me a puzzled look, as if he had never heard of it. He rambled on about the dangers of the desert at night, warning me that strange things happen out there. I assumed he was trying to scare me, perhaps hoping I would stay at his gas station for the night. Thank him for his time and left, determined to find my way back. Back on the road, the desert has settled in, and the isolation of the desert weighed on me. Drove on, hoping to find a way out of this lonely place. The road seemed to stretch on forever, and the night was silent and still. I was beginning to lose hope when I saw a pair of headlights in the distance. Relieved, I drove towards the light, hoping it was another traveler who could help me find my way back. As I approached, I realized it was a group of people standing in the middle of the road. They were dressed in ragged clothes, their faces obscured by masks. Panic gripped me as I slammed on the brakes, my heart pounding in my chest. The group surrounded my car, and one of them stepped forward, a gleaming knife in their hand. Tried to reverse, but there was no way out. I was trapped in the middle of the desert with no way to run. The figure with the knife approached my car, and I could see the malice in their eyes. Just as I thought my life was about to end, a bright light pierced the darkness, and the group scattered in all directions. It was a police car, and the officers rushed to my aid. They arrested the group and took my statement. It turned out they were a dangerous gang involved with criminal activities in the desert. I had narrowly escaped a horrifying fate, and the police escorted me back to the main highway. The lesson I learned from that terrifying night was one of caution and awareness. I had been too trusting, too eager to dismiss the warnings of the elderly man at the gas station. It was a stark reminder that danger could lurk in the most unexpected places. and it was essential to be cautious and alert when traveling alone. As I continued on my road trip, I couldn't shake the feeling of dread that had settled over me. The desert had seemed like a vast, empty expanse where it had hidden dangers that I could never have imagined. I kept my guard up, constantly checking my surroundings and making sure to stay on the right path. I eventually reached my friend's house and we shared stories of our adventure. I told them about the nightmarish encounter in the desert. They were shocked by the close call I had experienced. It was a trip that left me with a valuable lesson about the importance of staying alert and being prepared for the unexpected. The memories of that wrong turn still haunt me, and I am reminded of the silence of the desert and the sinister figure on that desolate road. It was a night I would never forget, a night that taught me to trust my instinct and to never underestimate the dangers and love in the most remote and desolate places.